maintain a long run. So it's a really fun, interesting, racy, extremely racy racetrack.
Yeah, obviously it's been a little difficult season for this team, but you've shown a lot of maturity this year. So when it comes to testing you as a driver, how much have you learned this season?
I'd say it's been a lot more than a little frustrating year. It's been extremely frustrating, not just for myself, but for Richard Petty Motorsports in general, not having the performance that we feel like we deserve, that we want to provide for our sponsors and everybody that's on board with us. And sometimes it's just that way. We see things in this sport of NASCAR that kind of ebb and flow. You'll see teams that are on top, and then they, for some reason, they lack a little bit of speed. Unfortunately for us, 2016 it will be a year that I think the company will look back on and say, that just was a year where we just lacked speed. We didn't have our cars and performance where we needed it, but we learned a lot that year, and ultimately lessons learned from that year is what caused us to get better.
What ultimately led you to the decision to make this your final full season?
Well, being full-time in the Sprint Cup Series and understanding that schedule on how rigorous it is, and then combined with 2 kids, and they grow older and they have more needs and they have more interests, likes and dislikes of their own. They start school, they start doing a lot of things that make traveling every weekend for 10 months out of the year a lot more difficult. And I just decided, my family kind of lives their life for me right now, and I just feel like I should be living my life for them to provide kind of the best opportunities and allow them to pursue their passions.
Was it just tougher than what you expected?
It was tougher. Combine that with, lacking performance like we have. It hasn't been as fun a year as it could have been. If performance was better, maybe that would change things. Maybe it'd still be the same. But all in all, it's the past is the past, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my life.
Yeah, that was one question. Now, if you were going out there and maybe winning races and contending, would that have maybe changed your decision, or was it mostly a family decision, like you said?
Well, I feel like it was mostly a family decision. Yeah. Would that be enough to persuade me to stay in the sport longer? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can only kind of hypothesize it. It's hard to say. Yeah. It might have allowed me to stay, and like I said, I might have had the same decision.
Right. What do you think RPM has to gain for next season in 2017?
Just performance.
Yeah.
They've got great partners from Twisted Tea, Smithfield, Goodies. A lot of people have come on board with RPM, and they've shown that they're capable. 2 years ago, Eric made the chase. Last year, he barely missed it. They've just got to really figure out these cars and what it takes to get them as competitive as they need to be.
Right. You're 28 years old and you're stepping away from the car. I can't imagine this would be it for you in racing. Do you have any other plans after this?
I don't. I still love racing. I have a passion for it. I think I'm fairly decent at it. If opportunities come off to do a race here or there, I'd certainly look at that and consider doing them.
Obviously, it's the last race for Tony as well. So have you spoken to Tony this weekend? Has he spoken to you?
I spoke with Tony last weekend. I haven't seen him this weekend, trying to kind of give him his space and allow him to deal with the last race however he so chooses. Normally, us drivers, we all kind of talk, and I'm sure that we'll probably exchange some words on the driver introduction stage and maybe even on the grid or something. But obviously, he's a legend in our sport. The sport will miss him. We're certainly all lucky that he's going to stay involved with the race team and everything. His involvement in NASCAR is a good thing.
Yeah. What's been your favorite moment in 2016, or will Sunday be your favorite moment?
My favorite moment in 2016 so far was probably finishing second at Talladega.
Yeah.
It was fun to have a good finish for this team. I felt like the team really deserved it. It was nice to see how that boosted the shop. And then who knows? We'll see what Sunday has in store.
Yeah.
So when you finished second at Talladega, did you know already that you were going to retire? Or did you make
I'd made the decision the week before. I made the decision after Kansas, and I notified the team and everybody, my family basically, that this is what I felt like God was calling me to do, and we started kind of making preparations to go through to what that looked like.
What was the response like from the team? Were they surprised? Or did they know you were contemplating?
Yeah, they were surprised. They respected my decision. They certainly understood it. almost everybody in the NASCAR community that's been involved with NASCAR and travels as much as we do, they understand that struggle. It's probably the number one thing that brings people off the road or gets people out of the sport is this time away from family and the grind of it all. So when you tell somebody that you're deciding to step away for those reasons, almost everybody in this sport at one time has considered it for those exact reasons.
Yeah, you posted a video from your wedding and it got millions of views, and I think everyone respects your decision. So what has that respect been like from the garage area?
Well, it's been heartwarming to see that people really respect and admire me for making a decision to put my family first. You know, when I made the decision, I honestly thought that there was going to be more backlash or people saying, you know, you're just quitting or giving up. But almost overwhelmingly, it's been in support of the decision and very gracious. And like I said, it's been heartwarming.
Right. Let's got a few photos I want to show for you throughout your career. Just tell me this little backstory if you can. This is you racing Johnny Benson.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to say what racetrack that's at, but
looks like Homestead.
Had a lot of fun back in the day racing guys like Johnny Benson, Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine, Todd Musgrave, a lot of really iconic drivers, and the guys that really taught me a lot about racing.
It's from your Dover win, 2009.
Yeah, that was a really great moment. That was a lot of fun. We had been so close. We'd finished second, ran up front to finally kind of get the cherry on top, pull off the W with our family-owned team, with a group of guys that we assembled and we built. That was really special to know that we were directly involved with putting all the pieces and everything together. That was a special moment.
Yeah. Then you pull Talladega.
This was really cool because I was with RCR. I was only doing a handful of races, and it was one of the first or only races that the Sprint Cup Series did with the drafting qualifying at super speedways. And we had a plan. All the RCR cars were going to work together. And we went through qualifying, and it was just a really good example of executing a plan and a plan really working. And I was a lucky beneficiary.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What are you going to do now that you're retiring?
Well, you know, it's family, and I'm not retiring. I'm going to have a career, and I'm going to have to work the rest of my life, but looking forward to seeing what that is.
Will you come out to Daytona next year?
I don't know. I'm sure I'll make it to some races. We'll just see. We'll have to kind of play it by ear.
Right. Good luck this weekend. Appreciate your time, man.